Hello out there, you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear listening in to another Gamer's Thoughts discussion. And this time I'm going to be talking about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, because I've played it. Ultimate Game Pass is a thing, and curiosity kind of kicked in. So yeah, I played it. Still not a fan. Really, still not a fan. I get the same feeling from this that I get from Street Fighter V, just not as horrible. I don't like the character designs. I don't like the story. The gameplay feels really... It feels like a step backwards in comparison to Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which is where the control scheme for this game kind of comes from. And there's so much about it that just honestly makes no sense whatsoever. And I just can't find any sort of desire to actually like this game. And that's horrible, because I'm a huge fighting game fan. I've been a big Capcom fan for a long time, especially the crossover games. And I play this and I feel like, what happened? Now, I don't mind that the roster is smaller. That's not the big deal here. That doesn't bother me. Small roster, I don't care. And actually, I think they did make some really good character choices. That's the bad thing. They made good choices outside of Chris Redfield, but they made some really good character choices. As I look at this game and I play it, and I've played through the story is horrible. There are so many inconsistencies with this story that make no sense whatsoever, and I'm just like, there's no way in the world that they think that this makes sense or that this works. There's no way that they think that this actually can... It's like anything that you know about these characters just gets thrown out the window, and they just throw whatever to the wall to see if it sticks, and it is so horrible. It's horrible. From the moment that Captain Marvel and Chun-Li team up to do an energy blast, which Chun-Li is literally largely pointless to be there for, to Ryu making the Hulk bend the knee and then telling him to not to control his rage, when the more out of control his rage is, the stronger he becomes, to Chris Redfield acting like he's some sort of tough guy. I mean, he's technically a tough guy in his own universe. In Resident Evil, I don't mind him. In this situation, he is utterly pointless. Or the fact that, hey, Ultron Sigma decimates a whole team of people, including Thor. And Thor calls almost literally the weakest human there to his side to help him fight Sigma. To Thor being corrupted, and we have Captain Marvel and Dante on the sidelines, but we're going to send Hawkeye and Arthur to fight him. Or, hey, giant symbiote monster is rampaging, and part of that symbiote falls on the Spider-Man. He becomes corrupted. Who do we have fight Spider-Man? Hagar and Frank West. After Spider-Man just displayed well before then that his capabilities far outshine those two, as well as Chris Redfield, who were all there. No, Chris Redfield says he's going to take on the big symbiote monster, knowing he can't do any goddamn thing to it. And we have Hagar and Frank West fighting Spider-Man down in a symbiote suit that amplifies his capabilities. Does this make any sense? No! The only situation in this game that made any sense whatsoever was Dante going after I keep forgetting his name. It's not Dimitri, because Dimitri is the vampire. But you know the demon that was trying to take over the world in Darkstalkers. Not Pyron, because Pyron, I believe, technically he's an alien, if I remember right. It's been a while since I played Darkstalkers. Oh, yeah, hold on. How about the fact that Morrigan picked a fight with Ghost Rider for no reason? None. That's not how her character operates. I mean, yeah, she's sly and you won't know what her intentions are, but the way that fight was portrayed, she literally had no reason to pick a fight with Ghost Rider. Jeddah, that's his name. Jeddah. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, Dante going after Jeddah and fighting him and beating the hell out of him, that makes sense. And I'm like, so much stuff happened. It's like ridiculous. Oh, and Thanos wanting to harness the power of the Dark Hado from Ryu, or Satsui no Hado from Ryu, even though he's already exceedingly more powerful than that is. I'm like, are you joking? Who wrote this? Who put this crap together? Because I'm sorry, it makes no sense. And again, yeah, the character design, they're better than what they originally showed, but they're still horrible. Like, they're still horrible. And I'm like, you guys would have been better sticking with the more comic book look that you had before. I didn't care for Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but the designs of the characters in that were far better than Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And I'm like, who told you guys that this was a good idea? Who? Oh yeah, another thing that made sense was Strider and Gamora teaming up. That was actually a good team up, and I wish that there was like a storyline or a plot line that followed that, because that was one of the few things that actually made some sense. Some sense. And it's just like, I really, truly just... Oh, and as far as playing with certain characters, how come X has a stationary charge shot? That's a special move, and he doesn't charge on hard punch and just have a buster as his regular shot or his regular attack. But Zero gets a charge buster he can move around with when Zero's the one that uses the close range attack weapons. He does not need a mobile charge shot. They should have flipped that. There's a lot of annoyances. Why are we using Devil May Cry 3 Dante again? Why couldn't we use Devil May Cry 4 Dante? I'm just saying. Make some sense of these things. Oh, and yeah, another thing that doesn't make any sense, the fact that Thanos literally helped them create the weapon to defeat Ultron Sigma with. And yes, and still made the glove to harness the Dark Hado from Ryu, but didn't incorporate any way to make use of the Infinity Stones. That's not how his character operates. And it's like, I'm just like, yeah, no, these... there's a lot of problems with it. And then the gameplay is okay. It's not the best. Again, if I was to play any game in the Marvel vs. Capcom series, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is likely the game I'm going to want to play. Because to me, it was the best. It was the peak of the series. It was the peak of the series. And if I was to play anything else, then it would be X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, or the original Marvel vs. Capcom. Those are the four I would play. 3 and Infinite suck. They suck. At least the control scheme in Infinite is better than the control scheme in 3, because I hate that control scheme with a passion. That, and it doesn't seem that characters can just needlessly stay in the air and rain down projectiles forever, which is a positive. Which in 3 you could do that with Phoenix forever and stay out of a fight and not lose it based on, hey, I can stay in the air and not be touched. Or when I do fall down to the ground, I can get back up into the air very quickly and stay up there for a long, extended period of time. Now, the fact that there are no X-Men in this game, Capcom put their own foot in their mouth on that one, and that's on them. I have nothing to say about that. I've already talked about it. I'm just like, you guys put together the worst, well, not the worst, the second worst game of this series of games that you could make. And you were proud to do it. And I'm sorry, Capcom. This was a very crappy effort. This game is not, it's okay. I'll give it an okay. It's like a C- D+ game. That's as far as I feel it is. Because the gameplay is okay. The character choices are good, outside of a few. But the overall package just is horrible. It sucks. A lot of things don't make any sense with your story. But that's really it. And like situations and the way the story plays out, a lot of stuff just doesn't make any sense. And it's just like, yeah, a lot of these things don't match up, and they just threw whatever to the wall to hope it would work. And it didn't. So, here's hope for Marvel vs. Capcom 4, I guess. But I'm done with my rant. Thank you guys very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me. And until the next time, enjoy your games and peace out. And do not play Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. It sucks.